let's sing our scale Do major, and you have it at the top of your sheet if you need to look at it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, and then back down. And the same thing, as beautiful as possible, which means watch out for certain vowels can be very ugly, especially in American. So do, re, do, re. You don't go for the full diphthong, do, re, as opposed to do, re. Do, re, mi, same thing, mi, as opposed to mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Okay, so everything as beautiful and round. I'm going to go up the scale. Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Not bad, except the bottom re was a little bit, people forgot. So try it again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa. Now round. Ah, much better. Okay, let's try some intervals. Re, do, mi, do, fa. So we're just going to sing up the scale, back it to do in between each one, and listen. Try and remember them, because afterwards I'll play them, and then you'll have to tell me what they are. Okay? Here we go. Do, re, do, mi, do, fa, do, sol, do, la, do, si, do. Now let's try and go down. Do, si, do, la, do, sol, do, fa, do, mi, do, re, do, sol. Yeah, now let's sing the scale up to do, and then let's sing it back down to la, and then let's sing it up to la, and back to do. Got that? Okay, so here we go. I'll say it one more time. We're going to sing up to do, down to la, up to la, and down to do. Okay, here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So you can hear we use the same group of notes on the keyboard. It's all the white keys, but you have two different qualities. You have this, which is what we call a major scale, and then you have the la minor, right? So we just are using all the same notes, but for various reasons your mind decides that it's one or the other, or it decides that maybe it's ambiguous and it doesn't know, which is what Schubert is playing with. So everyone may sit down. So I'm going to play an interval, and then I would like you to sing it back to me on the solfege. So that was the first one. Can you sing it? Uh-oh, what is it? Do, mi, do. Because if you try and count up, if you sing the scale, do, re, mi, do, mi, do, mi. Okay, so let's do it again. Sing it. Do, mi, do. All right, now let's try another one.
And one way you can recognize that is, all right, now let's sing that. Let's sing what I just played. I'll play it again. Okay, ready? Sing it. Then what's next? Sing it. Yep, let's try this. Right. And this is a half step, which is very unstable. You hear that? It just, ugh. Versus a whole, that's C to do, which is a half step. The other half step is mi to fa. Now, if we wanted to play a whole step instead, we could try re to mi. Can you hear the difference? Re, mi. A half step from re. Sing a half step going up from re. Re. Yep, so now listen to that. That's a half step. That's a whole step. The whole step isn't terribly harmonious either, but the half step is more dissonant. Okay, so I'm going to play something and you tell me if it's a half or a whole step. Okay, so here we go. Half. Yep. I'll play the whole for you. Here's one. That would be a whole. Okay, let's try another one. Whole. And the half step would be, right? When you hear them side by side, you can kind of get it. Yeah, for us. I mean, who knows how, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Well, they're also closer. We'll try. It's a whole. Now we know what that interval is when they're doing those tests, those electric. Isn't that exactly what they're doing? And a half step. Right? Okay, so let's try another one. Half, yeah. Yep, a whole is. Okay. Good. So let's work on counting for a minute. We'll come back to needing those. So on your solfege sheet, measure number 3. Every note is a sol. And every measure is in 4/4 time, which means what? Why does it say 4? 4 beats to a measure. And
every quarter note is
yes, the quarter note is the beat. So the number on the bottom is what your emphasis note is, and the number on the top is how many of them in a measure. So it's 4 notes in a measure, and a quarter note is the unit of the measure. So a whole note therefore takes up the whole measure, and therefore has how many beats? 4, yeah. So a half note has how many beats? And the quarter note we already said is 1. So what about an eighth note? A half a beat. An eighth note is a half a beat. Or another way to think of it is an eighth note has 8 of them in the measure. All right, so let's just sing, let's do a little exercise. We're going to do 4, and we're going to just do 2. We're going to do, let's just do all the kinds of notes in a row. So we're going to do 1 whole note, 1 half note. Let's do 1. No, we can't do 1 of each because then we'll get really crazy. By the end, it'll just be too hard. So we'll do a whole note. Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be awful. That's what a bouncing ball does. We'll do a measure of each. Takt. Oh yeah, takt. The same thing in Swedish. Yeah, so we're gonna do 4 beats. Takter, do you say takter, or what do you say? Takt, Schlag, stay, what, and we're gonna do 4 beats. We're gonna do 1 full measure. Oh, a takt is a measure. 1 measure of each kind of note to the 16th notes, okay? So we're gonna do 1 measure of whole notes, 1 measure of half notes, 1 measure of quarter notes, 1 of eighth notes, and 1 of 16th notes. Everyone got that? That way we can do it. It's not on your page. This is all here, okay? It's not on your page. So here we go. That's right. So you might have to look at me, or you could not look at me, but then you just have to be on time. So I'll count to 4 and then we start. 1, and we're going to say sol for each one. 1, 2, ready, go. Sol. Now half notes. Sol. Sol. Now quarter notes. Sol. 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 Now eighth notes. Sol. 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 16th. Sol. 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 Yeah, anyone want to try 30 seconds? Okay. So now, starting at measure 3, let's try and read that together. And you'll see in measure number 7, I have a note with a dot after it. Everyone see that in measure number 7? The dot adds 50%. So if you have a quarter note with a dot, how much are you adding? An eighth. Okay, but they don't get a second beat. If you have an eighth note with a dot, how much are you adding? 16th, yes. Okay, so we're going to start at measure number 3 and do this together. Everyone here is so smart, it will just be perfect. Ready? And that's why I put the rest, so I can hear if anyone messes up. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. So, so. You're late. You're late on that. I use this inside. When you have a rest that comes on the downbeat, which is what we have in measure 3, 4, 5. You see that little squiggly looks like a 7? That's an eighth note rest. It comes on the downbeat, and the note comes on the upbeat. Da, right? Da. If you have a note, if we're on the downbeat, we go dun, 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 dun.
It's the second note rather than.
No. The downbeat,
So is the upbeat.
just listen. The downbeat is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I put an eighth note rest, and we're only going to do the second, because every beat has 2 eighth notes in it, and I say, well, I don't want the first eighth note. I only want to hear the second eighth note. So then you have to think, da, 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 da. So the first one is quiet. Da, 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 da. You can come back. And it's helpful if you want to get it in time to have an idea in your mind of the rest, which is a kind of an accent, even though it's quiet. And sometimes when you're practicing, you can fill in a noise, which I do, which is an ugly grunt. So when you go da 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 da, right? Da 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 da, right? So you, yeah. Then of course when you perform it, you have to get rid of that. But that will give you a way of getting the thing that's on the upbeat. So in measure number 7, it's da 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 da, right? Sol 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 rest.
Measure 5.
Oh, sorry, measure 5. I'm sorry, measure 5. And we have more of those. If you look, we have a really quick one, measure 7, 8. Everyone see that? We have a 16th note rest. That's on the beat, and the 3 notes have to come after. So if you're thinking dee da da da, dee da da da, dee da da da, you got to get rid of the first one. Da da da, da da da, da da da, da da da. But it's a really important thing when you're looking through music to read it, to know, because if something's on the offbeat, it's always a little trickier to count than if it's on the coming down. So you want to be prepared. So now that we are thoroughly prepared, and there's a few of these rests that are on the, I put a lot of rests on the downbeat, okay? So let's start at number 3 again and try and be very precise, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sol, 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 sol. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, so, so. So, so. So, so. So, so. So, 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 so. So. Good. So just for the sake of practice, everybody do a grunt on the rest, just for the sake of practice, just for the sake of practice. Not on all the rests, but on the rests that are on a downbeat where you have to come in on the upbeat. Okay, like the second measure, that's just a plain old quarter note rest. We don't need a grunt for that. There's nothing tricky about how to come in. Okay? If you end up grunting on some of them, I don't care. But the main thing is I want to grunt on the ones where you've got to come in after. Okay? Just try it. Let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. Okay, now let's try it without the grunts. Try it without the grunts, but imagine that impulse. Okay, try it again. Ready? Because I want it to be really together. Like if we had 500 people and you had to do a rhythm like this precisely, that's what we're working on, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, 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 so. So, so, so. So, so. So, so. So, so. So, 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 so. So. Yeah. Yep, don't get behind. People are getting behind. Okay, so the next exercise is just to practice now a little bit of rhythm and a little bit of reading. And I simplified it somewhat. I don't think you have any set of notes that does not begin on a sol or a do. So it doesn't mean there aren't other notes, but every scale begins on a sol or a do. So those are the notes that you have to recognize, and then go up from there. So people see that starting at measure number 14? So I gave you the first sol, do, sol, sol, do. And every single line begins on one of those notes. So if you are just fluent at do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, or do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, if you're fluent like the numbers, like if I said to someone, count backwards starting on 37, I presume everyone here could do that, right? Right, 36, 35. You could do it. The same thing on the solfege. If I said go backwards starting on la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, you want to be able to blip. So if you know every phrase starts on a do or a sol, then this is not really that hard, except you also have to count. So let's just say the scale backwards a few times starting on sol. Okay? Ready? I'm going to do eighth notes. 1, 2, eighth notes, go. Sol, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah, and eighth notes. Ready? Go. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Yeah, do the whole cycle. Do the whole cycle backwards. Ready? And go. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, la, 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 sol. Yeah, okay? So that, and you can practice that on your own, and in New York City, you can say it out in the street, and you'll fit right in. No one will think it's odd. Okay, so let's try and measure 14. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, do, sol, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, si, do, do, sol, fa, do, re, do, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, si, do, do. All right, so what I can hear is everyone's not fluent.
Even going.
And people got tripped up on those off, measure number 19, right, or 18 to 19, do, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, right? Sol, fa, mi, re, do, si. The emphasis is on the note. Same thing at the end of measure 21 into 22. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa. Okay? So let's try it again.
Don't speed it up.
All right, I won't speed it up. I won't speed it up. Let's try it again. And try and do it, even though we're speaking it, try and have a little bit of a musical idea to it, okay? We're not robots after all. Hopefully no one here is. If you are a robot, please raise your hand. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, do, sol, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, si, do, do, sol, fa, rest, do, re, do, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, si, do, do. Let's try it faster. Yep, and watch out. I still heard some people in measure 19, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, right? Fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si. And then into 21 to 22. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, do, si. Those notes, everyone heard the expression of a pickup note. A pickup note is a note that goes into the next beat. So if I said I would like everyone to sing the pickup into 22, then what I would mean is 3, 4, do, si. It's a pickup into where it's going. Yep, and if I said the pickup into measure 18, that's the last 2 beats. Do, re, do. Okay, so let's try it again. Everyone ready? Here we go. 1, just a little. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, do, sol, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, si, do, do, sol, fa, do, re, do, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, si, do, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, si, do, re, mi, fa, si, do, do. Okay, good. Now, let's skip the last. Let's go to our Schubert. Yeah, because we just have a couple minutes. So let's look at the, on the top of the page that says violoncello. Everyone see that? That's the first movement. And it says corny, and then it has these little tiny notes. Everyone see that? So that means horns. That's the horn part. And that part comes out an octave lower than it's written. So what I would like us to do is stand up, and we'll sing the horn part, and then we're going to sing the cello part. So we're starting on the horn part in treble clef. What clef is the cello part in? Bass clef. Does everyone see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the eighth measure? There's a little bass clef. You see that? So there we got to switch to bass clef. Yep, so the last beat of that measure, you go to bass clef. Ready? So let's all sing it on solfege. Do, 1, 2, ready, go. Do, re, mi, la, si, do. Yeah, now don't forget everything we worked on, which is do, re, re, mi, everything around, as if we were a French horn. Okay? Ready, go. Do, re, mi, la, si, do, fa, re, mi, sol, re, mi, la, si, do, re, mi, fa. Now really quiet. Get ready. Here we go. 3. Sol, do, 2, 3. Do, fa, re, la, 4. Re, sol, do, mi, fa, sol, mi, fa, re, la, si, sol, do, la, sol, do. Yeah, let's sing that cello part again, okay? Let's sing that little cello part again. Here we go. Pizzicato, which means pluck. Not like this or like this, but pluck. Okay? I'll stay there in that register. 1, 2, 3. Sol, do, 2, 3. Do, fa, re, la, re, sol, do, mi, fa, sol, mi, fa, re, la, si, sol, do, la, fa, sol, do. Now we have this beautiful melody in the cello, so let's sing that together. Ready? Okay. 1. Where it says arco, where you get to put your bow back on. All right. 1, 2, ready, go. Re, mi, do, fa, mi, re, la, si, do, re, mi, re, re, mi, do, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, la, sol, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi, sol, la, mi, re, crescendo. Re, fa, mi, re, do, really loud. Re, mi, la, si, do, Yeah, so this symphony gets very dramatic. It unfolds from here. Let's sing that all again, and then we're going to, actually, do we have a volunteer who would like to sing the oboe part, which is not on here? Or is it on the back? The oboe's on the back. Who would like to sing the oboe? It should be a soprano or two. It's the same as the horn. Just- yeah.
Who wants to sing it?
Renee will sing it. Okay. Renee will sing the oboe. All right, and we're gonna all do the cello. All right, ready? So here we go. Everyone, yeah, and everyone can do the horns at the beginning, and then Renee will continue on that, and we're gonna switch to cello. Okay, ready? 1, 2, ready, go. What happened to all the cellos? That was brilliant, but everyone who was singing cello disappeared to listen to the oboe. The oboe was excellent. Let's give the oboe a round of applause. Okay. And she did the violin part too. So let's do it again from the beginning, but don't get distracted by the beautiful oboe. We have to come in and play the cello part.
I'll have to sing opera.
We're pizzicato. No, we're starting from the beginning where it says corny. And we're all singing the horn part, and then Renee is going to sing the violin transition and the oboe, and we're going to go on with the cello. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Sit down, and we're going to listen to Wilhelm Furtwängler conducting that much of the symphony. And we can see how we did compared to him.